Okay, we're going to continue looking at methods, and we're going to add a new feature to methods called parameters. Parameters will let us make methods more flexible to print things out. If you remember our last time we looked at a print face example where we just said print face, and we called it, and inside it we set a character to O, and we printed off the face with that O character variable. We also declared another print face B, and we declared another character variable X, and now we printed off the face with X. It would be better, I think, if we could combine. I mean, these two methods are nearly identical. The only difference is that the character variable is X in one case and 0 in another case, or O in another case. It would be nice if we could tell the method to use one character or the other and set up this variable when the method starts to be equal to that. And that's what parameters are going to do for us. So here's a version of print face that does that. We say print face, and inside the parentheses we declare a variable. This is called a parameter. And so similar, we have the type of the variable char and then the name of the variable. So just like before, where we were doing this, we're doing it right afterwards. Now we're doing it inside the parentheses, and we don't initialize it. We'll see how it gets to the initial value in a sec. So we declare it up here, and then we can just use it like it's a local variable. So this parameter can be used anywhere within this method. So anywhere from this block start to this block end, we can use this parameter just like it was a variable declared here. Now notice when we call print face, we say print face parenthesis, and inside that we stick a value. So this character will be copied up, and this face car variable will be initialized to this value. So that's very similar to here where we said character face car equals this. But it's more flexible. So if we want to do this print face with an X, we can also do that. So let's look at that in BlueJ. Here's my print face routines. I've added, besides print face and print face B here, I've added another print face parameter, meaning I'm going to pass it a parameter. I just wanted to give it a different name because I already have a method in here called print face. So I'm just going to call it print face parameter. And here's my character variable here. Now, if I call that, so I create an object of that type in BlueJ. So here's my object on my object bench. Now I can right click and I can say, oops, I'm missing that. Oops, I don't see print face here. Let me go back and see. Yes, I declared it as static accidentally. I don't want to do that. Okay, let's compile that again. Looks good. Create a new object. And yes, now I can see my print face with parameters. Now when I run this, it actually asks me what do I want as a parameter, and I can type in an O here, and it'll print out the face. Now if I just put an O, a character in here, and I try to say okay, it's going to have some problems because I have to remember characters have to be in single quotes, strings have to be in double quotes. So if I want to pass a character here, just like here, I have to put it in single quotes. I'm going to put that in single quotes, hit OK, and it'll print out my face that way. Now I can, what's the more nice powerful stuff here is I can print out another face with an X in it and print that out. In fact, I can print out faces with anything. So this is a nice flexible method that I can type in any character here and have it print out faces with that. And print out those faces. So that's one of the neat things with parameters. It allows us to make methods that can be used in multiple different ways. Okay, so this walks you through, talk about these arguments that are passed into these variables, into these methods. Now, we want to differentiate between two different places where these parameters will show up. Once is where we declare the method up here, and once is where we call the method. So we have we use a parameter here for the O, and we have a variable up here. So we'll call this a parameter up here, or a formal parameter, and then down here this will be an argument that we're going to set a value up into here. Or this is sometimes called an actual parameter and a formal parameter that you hear. So we have to make sure when we're talking about parameters, we're clear on if we're talking about when it's declared up here or when we're using it when we're calling it down here. Now when we're calling it down here, we can put any sort of expression in that. So for example, they're talking about putting an expression like numcars plus 99 in there. So you can stick whole expressions inside when you're calling this for the argument, what they're calling the argument here. Okay, go through this, do this review exercise. We then go into multiple parameters that we can declare, and if we declare multiple parameters, we put commas in between them. So go through and practice not semicolon. So when we declare parameters, we'll do it this way: int x comma int y. So not int x comma y. Each parameter has to have its own type. And the order matters. We'll have to also watch the order in which we declare them in, because that's also match the order that we pass information into them with the arguments or the actual parameters. So go through this exercise and learn about multiple parameters and setting those up. And then you have to change this little routine to print out a more complicated face. So right now when I run it, it passes only a single variable O, and it prints out this face. But we want to print out an O and then an asterisk for its nose. So I'm going to modify this so that it sticks in O, and I go comma, and I can add another parameter, and I'm going to add an asterisk here. Single quotes. I have to remember single quotes around characters, double quotes around strings. So put my single quotes there. Now I have two parameters here, two arguments. I have to make sure up here I have two arguments also. I have face car, face care, and I'm going to go comma, and I'm going to need another character variable, and I'm going to call this is going to be the nose, so I'm just going to call this nose car. So I've got face car and nose car here, and I'm passing in, and remember I mentioned that the order is going to be important. So when we run this main program, we get to print face, it'll call print face up here, and the O will be passed up into face car, and the the asterisk will be passed up into nose car. So now when I run it, we want to print out this face. Now it won't work quite yet. It's still printing out all O's because again, so here's where I print out the two eyes, and I'm using the face car for that. Here's where I'm printing out the nose, but I'm still using the face car. I'm going to use this nose car here. So I'm going to switch this to nose car and run it again. Okay, and then I'm getting the two O's and the asterisks here. Now I could add another character, I do this some more, add another parameter here, and that's what you'll need to do for the mouth character. Now I'm going to change one more thing since I'm adding this. This is called face car, but it's really just for the eyes. So I'm going to rename this variable. Well, you might want to do that. I guess I won't do that. I'll leave that up to you. If you want, you can rename this eye car. So I could say eye car here. And use eye car here to differentiate each of the characters a little bit. So again, whatever you name your parameters for here, that's what you have to use inside your routine. Now this is going to give me a compile error because it's got iCar declared, it's got nose car, but it gets down here and it gets down to face car and it says cannot find symbol face car. So it doesn't know what this is because I don't have that declared up above as a parameter. So work through this example, add a third parameter here to print out the pound sign or the hashtag, I guess you're probably more used to calling it, to print out the full face here. One thing I would like to just mention is that in these routines we'll be calling when you are calling a method within a class where that method's defined, you can just use the method name here. So I'm inside this class and printFace is declared in the class, so I can just call printFace here. Now, if I'm calling this method from somewhere else, I have to declare an object of that type and say that object dot printFace. So when we call methods from outside the class, when we're trying to use a method for an object we've created, then we have to make sure we use this notation. But within the object itself, so if I'm calling from one method to another method, inside the same object, I can just use the method name. So just remember that. Okay. And again, some more exercise with multiple parameters and also with expressions that'll be used here. So go through this, try this, and try out one of these challenge activities where you have to print out either a tic-tac-toe board or print out the measurement in feet and years. And then this is a spot where, again, you want to print out a double quote. And again, with double quotes, you have to do the escape character. You have to do / double quote to get the actual double quote printed off. So that's a common error you'll run into. So that's a good example to try out. Okay, so that wraps up a quick introduction to parameters. We'll do more with parameters in the exercises for this class in the assignment.